Hi, I'm Johnny Jenkins and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now is a good time to subscribe and like if you haven't done so already. And if you missed part one of this video of what I've read in lockdown, you can find a link in the description below. Now in this second video, we're going to be going through even more of the books that I've enjoyed over the past few months. So the first one I've got for you today is Truth to Power by Jess Phillips, who is a Labour MP, and I read her first book, Every Woman, a few years ago now. It's quite interesting, it's quite a short read as well, and it's about campaigning, organising and sort of activism, and Jess gives you some top tips if you're getting into it for the first time, and you also learn quite a bit about her career as being a Member of Parliament. So that's Truth to Power by Jess Phillips. Next up for you is Steve Richards' The Prime Ministers. Now, I've already read Steve Richards' first book, again a couple of years ago, The Rise of the Outsiders, and I really enjoyed that one, and this is just as good. It takes you through fairly detailed accounts of the Prime Ministers of the past, 70 years or something like that, and tells you a little bit, not just about their policies and their views, but also how they work, how their minds work, the sort of things that they were interested in. Definitely a good read, although what I would say about this book is that I really got into it towards the end when we were talking about more contemporary Prime Ministers rather than some of the ones, obviously, I don't remember. Next for you is Jon Sopel, If Only They Didn't Speak English. Now, Jon Sopel is the North America editor at the BBC and talks a lot on the radio and the telly about America and President Trump and all the rest of it. And this one's a few years old now. But it really gives you a good introduction into not just America, but American culture and how things work over there. It gives you a good insight into politics and the sort of everyday minds of people across America. And there is a sequel to this, and I went to the book launch of it actually, but I'm yet to read it. This next book is one I've had on the bookshelf for quite a long time and I never really got round to, and it's right up here out of the way, and it's called, again, it's about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, The Making of a World View, and it's all about Trump's views on foreign policy and his some of the decisions he's made, because a lot of people say he hasn't got many of his own actual views, but this book counteracts that, why we shouldn't be surprised by what the president does next. And it's quite a short book at about 100 pages, and I think I read it all in one day, so it's definitely one that's a good page turner. This next book is one I've actually spoken about in a vlog before. It's Coalition by David Laws, who was a Lib Dem MP and a member of the Cabinet between 2010 and 2015. So it gives you a good insight into how that government works, but also how a coalition government works with two parties governing the country. It gives you obviously a bit more of a view from the Lib Dem side because that was his political persuasion, but once you partner that one up with Kate Full Gatekeeper, which I spoke about in the last video, you really get a very good understanding of how things worked inside Number 10. I'm getting a bit carried away with books about David Cameron and Theresa May, but I've got another one for you here, Craig Oliver, Unleashing Demons. Now, Craig Oliver worked for David Cameron when he was Prime Minister, and it gives you a good sort of behind the scenes look at how things worked in the Brexit campaign and why is it different from all the other books I've told you about. Well, because he was in charge of media and media relations and communication with TV and radio and newspapers, and so that side of thing is something that really, really interests me, and it's definitely a good read. I don't think it's as good as Kate Full's book, The Gatekeeper, which I told you about in the last video, but it's still pretty good. Here's another one I think I told you about in a previous vlog, and it may well be one of my favourite books I've read in lockdown so far. Order, Order by Ben Wright, who works for the BBC, but this is about Parliament and about the different bars and pubs and restaurants in Parliament and about drinking cultures of different Prime Ministers over the years. So it's quite a sort of unique look at things, and it's quite a niche area of interest, but definitely one that I really, 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 really enjoyed. And finally then for now, well, they've all been quite positive so far, haven't they? But here's one I didn't enjoy so much, and in fact, it took me quite a while to finish. I, Maybot by John Crace, who is a satirist at The Guardian, and well, I picked it up thinking it'd be about Theresa May's time as Prime Minister, but really it's sort of a comical look at things and sort of a twist of reality and making it funny, but it didn't work for me, I'm afraid. I didn't enjoy it that much. I thought it was quite harsh at times, not just on Theresa May, but on pretty much anyone you can imagine. It may be a good book for you, but it's not one that I really, really enjoyed. And so finally for today is one I'm reading at the moment, and it's called It's Not About The Burqa. It's a collection of essays about Muslim women in the UK and their experiences with the sort of media, racism, and there's so many interesting parts of this book. I only started reading it the other day, so perhaps I'll give you an update when I finish it, but I'm definitely enjoying it so far. It's Not About the Burqa. Here we are, some more of the books that I've been reading in lockdown. And don't forget, if you missed part 1 of this video, the link to that is down below. I've really enjoyed reading over the past few months. It's given me quite the escape from these crazy times that we're living in. As always, the like, subscribe and share buttons are down below for you to use at your pleasure. And that comment button, today I want you to put in there if you've been reading in lockdown and perhaps 1 or 2 of the books that you have enjoyed. I'll see you next time.